I decided to update my Roblox game after almost 2 years, and you're probably wondering why. Because just a couple days ago, I was scrolling through my old games, soaking in some of that sweet nostalgia, until I remembered I spent $400 developing a game and then completely gave up on it. But you know what they say, new year, new me. Okay, it's literally almost August, but that's besides the point. But you're probably wondering why I even gave up on this game, and honestly, it's because I was working on it for 3 straight months with my scripter, Reactive Metal, and I was burnt out. The game didn't feel polished at all, and school really drained me. But besides all the excuses, I'm back to work on the game. So in order to turn this into a viral game, some serious changes are going to have to be made.
What change is that one, Rodev?
Pretty much, I created a list of some of the things that need to be added or changed in the game. And the first thing we need to do is recreate the GUI. Okay, so after a little while, this is the finished product for the GUI. Before, after, before, after, before, after. You get the point. Now that I finished the GUI, I'm just going to move it to the finished category and start on changing the jetpacks, which might take a while because the hardest part of a game is balancing it. So essentially, I just went into the rocket details and changed all the values between the height, the fuel, the speed, and a bunch of other stuff. So now that we finally have the game balanced, I can finally move it over to the finished category and start working on some new badges. But honestly, I've never made badges before, so I'm gonna brainstorm for a second. Yeah, bro, I like your badge ideas. I meant my badge ideas. Okay, so pretty much after an hour and a half of making some badges, this is what I came up with. I don't think they look too bad, so let's import them into the game. Okay, now that I put them in the game, we can now put badges into finished and move on to the next thing. Most simulators have a shop where you can buy some currency, so I decided that Rocket Legends needed this too. So I hopped into Photoshop and straight up cooked. And I made a couple other icons, but I added them into the shop, and for some reason they still look kind of plain, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of there. Now they look a lot better. So now that I added that in, we can finally move this over, and honestly, we're knocking these out pretty easy, so let me show you what the scripter's done so far. Okay, so as I said before, Reactive Metal is scripting our game, and he's starting to change up the shop cameras, fixing a little bit of bugs, and he also added in gifts and player invites. And for the biggest thing he fixed, now health and your rubies have data store, so you don't lose all your stats when you leave the game. Thank you so much for doing that, bro, because I have no clue how data storing works. But now I need to fix this thumbnail because it literally looks like it was made for $10. So I scrolled through a Discord server called Hidden Devs and messaged a couple people asking if they want to make a thumbnail. And while we wait for their response, we're going to move on to some of the big stuff. So the first thing I did was model a low poly island, but sorry, I did not record that part. And then I imported some models from my asset pack to make sure the lighting in the game was perfect. And after I made sure it was all looking good, I added some rocks around the map to act as borders. But after flying around for a while, I realized the map wasn't big enough. So we're going to have to model some stuff to make it bigger. And speaking of modeling stuff, 3D AI Studio is a new tool that helps developers create high quality models, sound effects, and more for your games. All you do is type in a prompt in their text to model feature and it'll generate high quality models in under a minute. But wait, 3D AI Studio comes with amazing models already pre-generated. So if you want unique, high quality models, check the first link in the description. But anyways, back to modeling the new map. So as anyone would do, I changed the map size to be bigger and then started working on some of the features that the map's going to include. So I made a bridge facing outwards on each side of the map, and I should probably mention that I made some new leaderboards. Essentially, I felt it would be better if we made floating leaderboards because, well, you're going to be mid-air for like 90% of the game. But now we have to fill in the rest of the map now that it's bigger, so I simply moved the buildings from the old map to the new one, and I added in some paths. And that pretty much completes the map. Oh yeah. So in my old map, I had new islands that you could reach, but they don't really do anything. So I think it'll be cool to add achievements depending on which island you reach. So I'm going to work on adding in some new islands to the map. Okay, so I just finished adding in all the new islands and here's what they look like. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that we needed a new thumbnail, but we actually just used AI to create the thumbnail. But I also want to show you a couple new things that we added in the game. And the first thing is boss battles, but unfortunately, when you play the game, this won't be released yet because of some bugs we're fixing, but it will be released in a future update. And on top of that, we added in new rocket flying sound effects because more sounds equal a better game. Now, you might think this game is done because of how amazing it looks, right? But anyways, it's not done yet. So let let me go through some changes we made to the game. And the first one's going to be in the Robux shop. I added some deals that are going to be limited time and change every single time we update the game. And then we changed the rings to now give you fuel and speed for everyone you collect, so you could fly up for longer and higher. I should probably mention that all the gift icons on the top left of the screen there also got fixed too. And if that's not enough, we also have NPCs around the map that you can absolutely obliterate with your rockets for some gems. And their characters are chosen by random people playing in your game. But anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I do want to apologize for my horrible schedule. It will be getting better. But if you want to play the game, the link's going to be in the description. Anyways, I'll catch you in the next one.